Welcome to the 700 Club. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's expected trip to Taiwan continues to dial up the drama. China's president has threatened serious consequences will follow her visit, saying those who play with fire will perish by it.
Speaker Pelosi would be the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit Taiwan in 25 years. Her presence there would push U.S.-China relations to the brink. National security correspondent Caitlin Burke is following this story.
The new message from the White House is that the Biden administration supports Speaker Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications, John Kirby, saying there's nothing new about congressional delegations visiting the island.
There is no reason for Beijing to turn a potential visit consistent with long-standing U.S. policy into some sort of crisis or conflict, or use it as a pretext to increase aggressive military activity in or around the Taiwan Strait.
The subject of the speaker visiting Taiwan also has bipartisan support, Republicans praising Pelosi's long-standing opposition to the human rights abuses of Beijing and determination to support Taiwan.
I disagree with Speaker Pelosi on almost every issue, and I won't be sad to see her go come the next Congress. On this issue, she actually does have a long track record, going back to Tiananmen Square, of being willing to criticize the Chinese Communist Party and stand up to Taiwan.
Pelosi's travels coincide with the anniversary of the founding of the People's Liberation Army. Over the weekend, Beijing sent a message by conducting live-fire military drills off its coast, just across from Taiwan. Monday, China's foreign ministry spokesman made clear if the speaker visits Taiwan, it will lead to, quote, a very serious situation and consequences. While not providing specifics as to any consequences, he added, the People's Liberation Army will not sit by idly.
This is part of what China calls its wolf diplomacy, where it intimidates, badgers, manipulates its neighbors and countries around the world to get its way.
President Biden spoke with Chinese President Xi Jinping for over 2 hours last week. According to a statement from Beijing, in reference to Taiwan, President Xi warned Biden those who play with fire will perish by it.
In some meaningful sense, the invasion of Taiwan has already begun. This is part of it. They're preparing the battle space. They're trying to make us afraid. They're trying to convince the Taiwanese that they cannot count on us, and we need to stand up to that growing aggression.
There are reports of Chinese warships sailing closely to the line dividing the Taiwan Strait. In the air, similar provocations. And the Kremlin is now weighing in, adding a warning of its own against the U.S. provoking China. The speaker has said the focus of her Asia trip is on mutual security, economic partnership, and democratic governance. Gordon?
Well, Caitlin, the administration says China is likely to escalate its warnings. What steps might they take?
In Monday's White House briefing, Kirby told reporters that some of the responses they're expecting could include missiles fired near Taiwan, large-scale air or naval activity, or even more legal claims, like whether or not the Taiwan Strait is truly international waterway. The White House did say that they would continue to be transparent with Americans, even as more rhetoric is expected from China.
Well, what do you expect the U.S. response to be? How will the U.S. respond to China's threats?
Well, the military has not detailed the precautions that they have taken, only that they have done so. We do know that there are 2 ships operating in the region, the USS Reagan and the USS Tripoli. Gordon?
Well, thanks, Caitlin. Thanks for the analysis. In other news, the U.S. killed al-Qaeda's top leader. He was the one who was Osama bin Laden's deputy on 9/11. John Jessup has that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
That's right, Gordon. President Biden announcing Ayman al-Zawahiri's death in a speech to the nation last night, making a promise to other enemies of America.
No matter how long it takes, no matter where you hide, if you are a threat to our people, the United States will find you and take you out.
The United States used 2 Hellfire missiles to kill Zawahi as he stepped onto the balcony of a safe house in Kabul. The president said there were no civilian casualties and praised U.S. intelligence for tracking and confirming the terror leader's location. Al-Zawahiri and Osama bin Laden planned the 9/11 attacks. His presence in an upscale Kabul neighborhood is raising questions. The ruling Taliban had promised it would not harbor terrorists like al-Qaeda members in the terms set by the conditions for the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. Well, in less than 100 days, voters head to the polls for the midterm elections. And today's primaries in several states will determine who's running in November. Many are looking to Arizona, where the governor's race could be a bellwether for Republicans. Matt Galka reports.
Both major GOP candidates in Arizona's primary for governor are feuding over which one carries the true Republican banner. Below the surface, the race is seen as a high-stakes battle between Donald Trump's MAGA movement and the traditional party establishment.
People of Arizona are going to fire the radical left Democrats. You are going to elect a truly great woman who I've gotten to know very well, Kari Lake, as your next governor.
Lake, a former TV news anchor, obtained the coveted endorsement early on. She stood side by side with the former president in Arizona in the run-up to the state's primary.
No one understands better than Kari how to fight back against the fake news media and the radical left. They're partners. They're partners for whatever reason.
Do we love this man or what?
Lake has courted many of the former president's voters, likely familiar with her from decades as an Arizona newscaster. Her rival heading into the primary, Karen Taylor Robeson, didn't have that built-in name recognition, but she has closed that gap with ad spending and the backing of the more traditional wing of the party. While Lake appeared with Trump, Robeson had former Vice President Mike Pence and current Arizona Governor Doug Ducey in her corner.
I'm here because Arizona and America need Karen Taylor Robeson as the next governor of Arizona.
Mike Pence has led and lived his conservative values. Boy, do we miss him in office right now.
Arizona has been a focal point of the 2020 election allegations, leading to a high-profile audit that turned up no evidence of wrongdoing. Though Lake and Robeson both believe there were issues with the election results, they also accuse each other of being a fake Republican while pointing to past Democratic ties. So where are Arizona voters heading?
What was once a competitive race between Kari Lake and Karen Taylor Robeson shows that our latest polling that Kari Lake is, the voters are breaking heavy and hard towards Lake.
One prominent Arizona polling firm has Lake dominating by double digits.
If it was based on the amount of money spent on TV and endorsements, Robeson should be carrying the day. But it's not. Lake is clearly breaking away, and I think that it's just, it's a new world ever since Trump came on board in this battle in the GOP. But right now, the Trump folks have the upper hand.
Now, while that may be just one poll, most others have featured Lake in the lead. Ahead of Tuesday's primary, Lake's campaign has alleged fraud in the primary vote, but has declined to get into specifics. Matt Gelka, CBN News.
Thanks, Matt. Gordon, it's looking like a proxy battle between Trump and Pence for the future direction of the GOP.
It does, but I wouldn't read too much into just one election. We'll see the results from Arizona and then move forward. I think the bigger election today is the one going on in Kansas, where the voters there are deciding what their state constitution says about abortion. Their own court ruled that abortion was somehow guaranteed by their state constitution. So we'll see what happens with the changes today. That vote is going to be very important to the Right to Life movement.